stream upload. I don't think he's live yet.
He's not live yet. Not live yet.
Not live yet. Faiz, please.
Okay.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our investors KopiTime, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Thoo Chow Fah, from the executive chairman of Notion Vtec, Berhad, to join us today in our KopiTime session. With us regularly, as usual, we have Alvin and Peter together with us. So today, I think we're gonna give more time for Mr. Thoo. He's the star of the day today. So, but before we go further, for those who just join us, if you would like to have our access to Equities Tracker platform, please do click on the number or a WhatsApp number, which is going to be displayed to you in the comment in a short while. So just click there and we will take it from there. So you'll be able to get also some of the freebies that we promised you in our earlier live sessions. Right. So now, without further ado, before we go into and talk with Mr. Thoo, we're gonna take a look at his share price performance and how has it been going for the past few years. So can we get the screen up so that we can see the performance of the share price in the past 4 years? All right. So you can see over here, it has been a roller coaster ride for Notion Vtec. In October 2016, we see a very strong, let me just get a pointer. We see a very strong rally here at the end of 2017, at the end of 2016, and the price went to as high as 1 ringgit 30 cents before it started to pull back. And we all know that the fire broke out right in October 2017, and the expected loss was about 150 to 200 million ringgit. So the price went down to a low of about 49 cents before it started to rebound again after they have received the insurance claim, right? And the price has been trading sideways throughout 2018. And it's trading between 55 and 70 cents. That's when Notion Vtec also start receiving the insurance settlement. And in September 2018, they accepted the offer of 154.9 million, right? And at that point of time, 80 million has already been received. And in November 2018, when the share price was here around 57 cents, there's the final settlement of 44.4 million over here. Since that final settlement, the price actually went out a little bit, but it started to move again in October 2019, very strongly upwards. Okay, from 55 or from below 55 cents, all the way back to 1 ringgit and 30 cents, right? And of course, like most other companies in Bursa Malaysia, because of the COVID-19, the price has already fallen quite steeply, and is now going back to levels where it was, previously in 2018. So I think most of us want to know currently whether at current price it's really a good value for Notion Vtec, and we also want to see maybe get explanation from Mr. Thoo later on. What would be the strategy like overcoming this crisis that most of the companies are facing today, right? So I'm going to pass this to Alvin. He will show you the financials for Notion Vtec so that you can actually relate to its share price performance. All right, so I'm going to pass this to Alvin.
Okay, hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you again, Mr. Thoo, for spending your very precious time this evening to be with all of us. Yeah, send us some likes if you want to thank Mr. Thoo for being here. So if you still haven't signed up for your free account, please do that. Please send us a WhatsApp. Okay, the number is on the screen. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna switch over to my screen. Faiz, you can help me switch over to my screen. I'm gonna be going through and give you guys a very brief background on the financial numbers of Notion Vtec. And actually, today's session is really all for you. We're going to leave a lot of time for question and answers. We know the few podcast sessions when Peter ran and talked about semiconductor and its supply chain. A lot of you guys asked, what about Notion? What about a few other stocks? So, less for us to answer because we have the man here himself who'll be able to answer that for you. All right. So I'll just go through financial numbers with you guys so far. So on our score on our system, Notion Vtec scores at 87.5%. Now this is a very good score for what it is. Anything above 80% we generally consider a good score. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in quickly to give you guys an idea, right? On what kind of turnover that we're doing, right? Okay, right. Oh, I need to change my background. Thanks.
It's very messy.
Okay, cool. Now if you look at the screen now, Notion Vtec does about 200 plus odd million in sales a year. Of course, if you look at their 2018 numbers and 2019 numbers, you're going to see a sharp fall. Why you ask? Largely, this is due to an insurance claim that came through because a fire, like Benny said earlier, a fire did break out in 2017, right? And that affected their business. And of course, we can ask Mr. Thoo more about it. Surprisingly, even during this period, he has been continuously paying dividends. Out of the last 10 years, 8 out of 10 years, he's been continuously paying dividend. And last year he paid out, or would I say the board recommended a payout of 1 cent over their earnings of 2 cents. So almost 50% or 44% dividend payout. The company has had positive operating cash flow for the last 9 out of 10 years, except for the latest year of minus 16 million. Maybe that we can talk about that. And they've had positive operating cash flow for the last 9 out of 10 years. Now, I think for the last 2018, it's negative simply because the fire did break out and they had to rebuild their factories again. So therefore, you're going to see their investing activities is much higher. On the balance sheet, they are looking quite pretty. And I guess this is the question about can they sustain in a downturn like this, right? So what we have here is 68 million in cash and about 81 million in short-term loan and long-term loans. This is as of 2019 September. Now, if you guys like to get this number, I'm happy to share with you guys. So if you can just put Notion in that comment there, I will make this financial numbers here available to all of you. All right. So just type Notion. I just want to get a sense if you guys actually want to look at this. For those who are a bit lazy to set up a free account, just go on to our WhatsApp, set it up. You can get this for every single company. All right. Okay. Now, before we start, what we would like to do is we talked about giving out the list of EPF stocks 2 nights ago. We are still compiling that stock. All we want you to do is this thing, okay? All I need everyone, all 343 of you on Facebook or 351 of you on Facebook so far, all I need you to do is tag 5 friends, okay? All you do in the comment is tag 5 friends. How many friends, Benny?
Five friends. Just tag 5 friends.
We've got a fantastic list, all right? That's it for me. I'm sure you guys have a lot of burning questions for Mr. Thoo. We can switch over the camera over and let's kickstart this discussion, all right? Okay, yeah, looks like everybody does want it. We're seeing good comments there. Tag 5 friends, okay? That's very important. Tag 5 friends, huh? Okay, so over to you, Benny.
Okay, now we will start the conversation with Mr. Thoo. We don't want to keep Mr. Thoo waiting here. He's been quiet. So maybe Peter, you wanna start off with?
Yeah, hi, Mr. Thoo.
Hi,
Okay.
guys. Good night. How are you? Hi.
Maybe you can give us some understanding about what is the situation of the EMS industry now, considering now not only on the local scenario but globally due to this COVID. What is happening now to the industry?
Okay. Good evening. I think just before this, if you look in January, I think everybody was worried about the supply chain coming out from China because their factories were basically shut down for 2-3 months, right? Because of the Wuhan crisis. So the rest of the world were actually very worried not being able to get supply of PCBs, sensors, electrical equipment coming out from China, and it will have disrupt the massive supply chain to the rest of the world. But little did we thought it's going to be a short-term thing. This virus will be over by summer. Everybody says it's another SARS. In 3 months, it will be over. But little did we know, actually, it spread to become a global pandemic. Sad to say that, but nearly every other country is affected now on a global basis. So on the EMS sector, I think we are also equally affected. Although my customer in the EMS sector is actually, we are doing a lot of new projects for them. We are developing some projects for them on metal parts for special projects. So currently, I think because of the Malaysian shutdown or lockdown, there's disruption to our operation. We can only run 50% of our factory, right? So our capacity will be down during this extended period. But fortunately for us, we have kept stock enough to last us a month and a half. So we should see us through this local shutdown. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
In terms of your cash flow perspective, right? Are you able to manage it, or do you see some difficulties in weathering through this temporary movement control period?
We have assured all our workers that our salaries, we are paying them full. We have not reduced anybody or laid off anybody as yet, because we are committed. We just cannot simply lay off people, because when the recovery comes, you need people to run the business. So we have no issue in terms of cash. Yeah, we have. In fact, today I was talking to the bankers. They were very supportive. They've given us additional 10 to 15 million extra revolving credit to help us in this situation. So it's not too stressful for us. Yeah.
How
We're
many
able
workers?
to meet all of our bills.
How many workers do you have in total?
Oh, in Malaysia, we have 3 plants in Klang and 3 plants in Johor, totaling about 1,500 workers. And in Thailand, Ayutthaya, we have 3 factories, totaling about 500 workers. So in a group, about 2,000.
In these 1,005 workers, right? Can you share with us the breakdown between local workers and foreign workers?
Okay, nature is that such that we have foreign workers mainly in our group, roughly around about 75 to 80% will come from the foreign workers. Yeah.
I see.
Okay, just like that today, sir, since we are talking about the
We are
crisis.
actually a very good proxy for knowing what's happening in the world. You know why? In the automotive segment, I send products to Poland. I show you the list. Automotives, we send products to Poland, Mexico, Brazil, China, USA, Germany. That's one customer. Another customer we send to Belgium, USA, Japan, China, Romania, Korea, and India. So on the automotive side, we cover maybe about a dozen countries. On the camera side, it's mainly into Thailand. From there, they assemble and send out to the world. On the hard disk drive segment, our customer is mainly based in Thailand. So we basically, the way we perform will tell you how is the flow of work to the rest of the world. I think our exposure is global. Although our revenue is only about 230 million last year, mainly 40% will be in US dollar, 40% in euro, some baht, and some ringgit. Yeah.
So
That's
is ringgit a small component of most of your revenue?
Currently, yes. most of my costs here will be in ringgit actually.
Is most
Your
of it generally in ringgit? Sorry, Peter.
Yes.
revenue?
Revenue, like I said, is 40% in USD, 40% in euro. So we are quite diversified in those two currencies.
I see.
Maybe
it's a blessing that we have the US dollar at 440. Sorry for the importers.
Jose.
Yeah,
So really,
about it.
just to recap, yesterday's, if you missed yesterday's podcast, we talked about companies in quadrant 4. So this puts Notion Vtec squarely in quadrant 4, right? Am I right?
Yep. Quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 is companies with revenue
before
exposure
that,
to dollars.
I need to tell you a little bit. Whatever project that I'm going in the short term to get me through this period will be mostly in ringgit. So, but it will take time to build up that business. Yeah.
Can you give us some very? We know that project could be sensitive, but can you give us some broad outlook about when you said you have some project in the short term for you to manage through this current situation? Can you give us some broad understanding about what likely would that be? I mean, what kind of projects?
Thank you for your question, Peter. Before I continue, let me advise you guys. This is not investment advice, okay? Please apply caveat emptor. Do your own research before you jump in and buy our stock, okay? I am not advising you to jump in at any point in time. We are just giving you our views fair and square. You take a risk, you invest your money, hard-earned money, and you make good money, that's well done for you. But don't use us, don't take our talk tonight as an indicator to buy the stock, okay? It isn't.
Fair point. Yes.
Okay. Now back to your question. In the last 1 month, we have been strategizing. The group management has been looking at what sort of things that we can do that will help us get through this period, because we are locked down and things are not moving as borders are closed, flights are stopped. You are just basically looking at the number of new cases of the virus, which is very depressing. Anyway, so we need to overcome it. We will positively face it and be realistic and not be in a denial mode. We cannot be in a denial mode. We have to face it and say, right, there is a crisis. The world is in crisis. The business model is in every company is probably affected one way or another. And whether we will be the same after this crisis is also probably not going to be also. Some of us will probably belly up. Some of us will survive it, but it will be a very challenging period, I think.
What kind of companies do you think may actually go belly up? I mean, what, maybe not specific, could be industry specific or character specific, you think?
I think companies that are short of cash, that depend a lot on imports. Now with the ringgit so weak, your cost will be a lot of inflation. And if you are in a mature industry, it's a little bit more harder even. And if you're not diversified enough, your customer or your industry, most likely your markets will be affected. Yeah. So back to Peter's question, what sort of project we are looking at? So we have come up with a project in the healthcare PPE, which is actually personal protection equipment sector. We had a look at it. We have connections in China, and we have ordered machinery to come in by April. So hopefully by May, I need to set it up, and hopefully there won't be a prolonged teething problem. And It's a new segment for us. It's something new, and I don't know whether it will succeed or not. But we are hopeful that it will see us through this period. Yeah.
Mr. Thoo, maybe for the benefit of viewers who are seeing you for the first time, would you able to just give us the industries that Notion actually serves?
Sure. We are actually a precision machining company, 100% before we actually diversify into EMS sector. EMS sector gave us an opportunity to diversify from being a pure machinist company to be into fabrication, into various type of engineering that we were never involved in. We're now going into die casting, we're going into extrusion, which allow me to further integrate my whole operation. In other words, we are actually a very complete group of company. We can buy the aluminum billet from a supplier. We can extrude it into solid bars and sections for my machinery, my lathes and tap and drill machine, CNC, to machine into usable products for the hard disk drive segment, for the camera segment, and for the automotive braking system parts. Okay, so in the EMS sector is more interesting. It's mainly metal products for appliances developed by my EMS customer. Yeah. So we are now going into laser cut, laser welding, robotic arm, and various other engineering processes that allow us, because our manufacturing capability extends not just for having machining. We have tool making capability, jigs and fixture. We have surface treatment. We have now extrusion, which gives me the raw material for the manufacture. And we have automation. We have invested quite a bit into automation in the last 1-2 years because it's necessary. We cannot continue to have a labor-intensive industry. So that's what we have been doing. Okay. In the gist, that's what we are doing.
What kind of sorry, Peter. Just for the benefit of viewers, what kind of size are we looking at in terms of the hard disk segment you mentioned, the camera segment, the auto segment, the automotive segment, and you think there's a new segment which is EMS client, right?
Okay, the breakdown in the last year, couple of years, or even up to last year, 2019 financial year ended 30th September, is roughly hard disk drive about 40%, automotive is another 40%, camera is around about 5 to less than 10%, and the rest will be EMS. But this year, 2020, the EMS sector would have been the main growth area, propelling the group to a higher level as we have projected in our quarter one. Yeah, that's it.
Mr. Thoo, there's a question from the audience. They're asking about this new project you're undertaking, right? What is roughly the capex going to be? Will it be a very high capex or something manageable?
It is very manageable. It's well within our means to launch this project.
Can we say ballpark, say not more than 20 million or not more than 10 million?
Not more than 10 million.
Not more than 10 million. Okay. Thanks for that.
Okay, guys.
I also have one question from
before we continue.
Yeah.
So Benny.
Benny, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
because
Benny.
we are seeing quite a number of people coming in. For those who just joined us, welcome. We have a special guest today, Mr. Thoo, the Executive Chairman for Notion Vtec, to share with us his company's strategies moving forward and also in times of this crisis. But for those who are still new, if you want to get a free access for Equities Tracker platform, where you are able to access to all the public listed company financials in the platform, which is on the internet. You can just go and browse. Please do WhatsApp us at this number, right? Or you can also just click on the number which is going to be pinned on the comments. so that we are able to give you the access to Equity Tracker platform until April 7. Now, guys, some of you have been asking as well whether we are going to extend the trial, the access, right? So maybe later Alvin will want to answer that, lah, right? Okay, so but for now it's April 7. So if you just WhatsApp us this number, you will be basically messaging with our auto communicator over there. They bring you to the access. How can you get the access? All right. So now I also see we have about 550, 560 people coming in. If you still remember, we actually shared with you that if we hit 1,000 people, we'll be sharing you the list of stocks with FQA score. All right, which tells you whether the company is fundamentally strong or not. But after that, I mean, 1,000 will be hard to reach, and we really thank you guys who have actually shared with your friends. Really, really thank you. So we have actually brought down the target a little bit. So all you need to do now is to have 600 views instead of 1,000. All right. So it's only about 50 more people. Please share to your friends right now. I think today we can achieve this. And you know what? Once you're able to achieve this, we are actually providing you with two different lists. First one is the FQA score, and the other one is the, if you remember,
EPF.
the EPF list. All right. So tag 5 friends. Okay. Tag 5 friends. And those who tag 5 friends, we will give you again later on where you can get this list, the EPF list that Alvin has mentioned. So I'm sorry for the interruption. Maybe we can start continuing again.
Thanks, Benny. Yeah, don't forget WhatsApp, tag. Okay, that's all you need to do, right? Mr. Thoo, I've got one question from Mr. Ashwin Singh. He said, why is Notion the top producer of big brake plungers, which I believe that's under your automotive segment, and who uses that plunger? He asked whether it's third generation cars. I don't understand what you mean by third generation cars. So maybe for the viewers, you can help us answer that question.
Okay, thank you for the question. A lot of people don't realize actually we are one of the biggest maker of this plunger for the, this item actually goes into the master cylinder of your braking system. When you depress your pedal, it depresses, moves two piston or two plunger in your car. So every car will have two pistons or plunger. And in a year, we typically manufacture about 30 million pieces of plunger, which is equivalent to about 15 million cars. So in the world, they produce roughly about 90 million cars in a year. So 1 in 6 cars will have our product. And the major makes are all in there. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
The answer
So there's another few questions.
The third generation, right? Okay, we are also in the program for the electric car, obviously. We're supplying a lot into USA.
So do electric cars also use brake plungers?
Sure. You need an emergency brake. You cannot have just regenerative braking. Okay, you need to have a hydraulic brake to emergency. Okay.
Another question here about hard disk, Mr. Thoo. What do you think of the hard disk segment in the coming future?
Okay, Benny. If you ask me in this recession, which of my segment will be the most stable, I think it will be the hard disk. You know why?
Oh, really?
Wow,
yes.
why?
You just think for a while, okay? In this recession, are you going to shut down your internet? You probably have more people using the internet, right? Just what we are doing now. You generate more information, more data. You need more storage. But you need all this. You need to have data center. You need to have cloud. All this will drive the demand for the bulk storage, which is basically hard disk drive, the enterprise segment. So the enterprise segment will grow because of this growth in the internet, basically. So whereas if you look at automotive, I think it's no big you know, I think everybody knows whole market is affected, right? You have a shutdown in nearly every country, in Europe, in America. So the sales of cars should plummet. True. Production should be affected because of the shutdown. So I think there will be definitely disruption. There will be disruption to also on the camera segment. So, but in terms of hard disk drive, my customer is chasing me for supply. He's worried that I'm shut down.
I see.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Thoo, maybe for the benefit of those,
Yep.
sorry, maybe for benefit of those viewers who are not familiar with Notion, maybe you can explain to us what parts of hard disk drive that you're actually manufacturing.
Okay. Not every hard disk drive component is the same. You cannot compare myself with the other two peers down in the Bursa.
Okay.
They have their own segment.
Okay.
They have their own. We in the hard disk drive segment for Notion, we are only principally four components. Number one, in Thailand, I'm machining the base split for the 2.5, 3.5-inch base split provided by.
Base plate.
Basically, we are just it's an added value service. In Klang, we are making mainly spacers and top clamps, and also doing some what do you call it, NTDs, or what you call it, air separator. Okay. Four components. Yeah.
In the spacer division, right? I believe your spacer is aluminium, right?
In my case, it's aluminum spacer and aluminum clamp. In fact, 90% of my raw material is aluminum.
Okay.
And during this crisis, aluminum price is below 1,600, right? Mainly because crude oil price has plummeted to less than $30 per barrel. And if you understand aluminum is made from alumina smelting. Somebody like press metal will be doing that, right? In Sarawak. So it's very energy intensive. So the more energy you require, and if you have lower fuel price, the cost of it will come down. But also economic supply and demand situation like now is much cheaper to buy aluminum now than a couple of months ago. Yeah, it's only less than $1,600 US dollar per metric ton on the LME. Yeah,
I see.
so that's favorable to us.
Need to tap your knowledge about the industry, if you don't mind. There has been this talk about this trend of shifting the spacer from aluminium to other materials.
Yes.
For instance. So what's your view on that?
Depend on my customer. There are only 3 customers in this space, right? My customer is trying to maximize the usage of aluminum spacer before it migrates to the next generation of hard disk drive. Typically now they are looking at 20 terabyte per hard disk drive. So they will be migrating to the 50 terabyte or more per drive. So when they do that, they will change the platter from aluminum to glass, in which case they will then have to change the spacer from aluminum to either titanium or stainless steel. I think my customer will stick to stainless steel. We have done all the program, and we are slotted to do some of this new work, but it's not yet launched. It will be some months or further down the road.
In terms of product
It's
pricing, right?
necessary because of the change in the material.
I see. In terms of product pricing, sorry. In terms of product pricing, Alvin, you're saying? Hello?
No, go ahead. It's okay. No, you're okay.
In terms of between titanium, stainless steel, and aluminium, what is the product pricing range like?
Oh, I think titanium is the top end, most expensive, and then stainless steel will be the middle, and then aluminum is the cheapest. So unfortunately, we don't have those higher end spaces, which
But-
my peer up in Penang is having.
But I know numbers can be sensitive, but can you give us a range? Like when you say more expensive, right? How much more expensive than aluminium?
Scale of maybe about 3 to 4 times in that range, 3 to 5 times. So
That's for titanium, lah. Stainless steel,
stainless steel maybe slightly lower, maybe 3 times.
so it's still 3 times higher than your aluminium, lah.
Yep. But
I
don't
see.
forget, cost is also a factor to all this manufacture, right? There will be lower end terabyte, high end terabyte, mid end terabyte. So they will still need aluminum, stainless steel, and titanium. But we can manufacture all this. We can machine all this material. Not issue.
Mr. Thoo, is there
Yep.
any retooling cost, or if they switch from aluminium to stainless steel, like you mentioned, is there any risk to your business? I mean, is there any like if it's two material changes, does it change the whole? Because if we're not engineers, so maybe for the sake of the viewers, how do we assess that? You know.
Okay, the material will be instead of aluminum is fairly soft in terms of machining. So it's much easier to machine aluminum compared to stainless steel or titanium. So you would have to retool using different cutters and engineering processes to cut the same material to the dimension that you want. But the cycle time for each piece will obviously be lengthened because it takes time to now cut, right? So in other words, the productivity per machine will come down. That's why your costs have to go up. In other words, if for the same quantity, you may have to invest in more CNC, more of the CNCs to cope with the same volume, because your cycle time now is enhanced, right?
Okay.
Basically, that's what's happening. But
And
there's no difference to my model. I can still continue to run it. Yeah.
Okay. Right. For those who just join us, you have any questions for Mr. Thoo, please keep those questions coming. We only have another half an hour, about 20 minutes left. So for you to have a chance to ask Mr. Thoo questions. So Mr. Thoo, I will take a question here from Sandra Chang. She asked whether she can have a breakdown of the order book for Notion based on segments.
Yeah, I think we already. You're talking about current or future?
So is it current or future lah? So I guess it's current lah.
Oh, you can give us both.
Oh yeah.
I think we spoke about historical. Right? Historical, we are about 40% HDD, 40% auto, less than 10% camera, and the rest is EMS. But in 2020 financial year, it's actually going to be very hard to forecast. And even harder in 2021, simply because we do not know when this crisis is going to end and when can the market be restored, that we can run back to the scale that we were pre-crisis, right? So whatever number I'm going to throw to you is really not going to be accurate, simply because we don't know. I don't think even my customer knows. Correct?
I don't think even the prime minister or presidents also don't know.
I believe so.
It's a tough question. It's a very tough answer, to be honest now.
Yeah. If I were to give you a number now, it's probably going to be not accurate. So better we don't talk about it. Let's put it this way. I think Q2, which is my March quarter, will be down because of the number one, China was affected. And then now this month we are affected by the lockdown. So we should expect some reduction in orders there. Not terribly bad, but I think there should be some reduction. But because I'm moving into this healthcare business, I'm hopeful Q2 I can catch up and be able to finish a year for financial year 2020 on the 30th September with not too bad a reduction from we forecasted, we gave a guidance, right? Management target 320 million for FY 2020. I think we will end up roughly around about 300 million sales and still be profitable. I think so. Okay, but FY 2020 to 21, we forecast our management target was 400 million sales. If this healthcare business segment do thrive and I'm able to scale up, I think it will be exceeded.
Wow.
Okay, so but I'm not. Please don't rush to go and buy the stock yet. Okay, still got a lot of risk. I don't know whether I will have teething problem, supply problem, further shutdown. You know, a lot of uncertainty. But
I think it's
looking
not
at the
risky for
numbers,
you after you said 400 million.
it's in Q1 anyway. My commentary is all in there. You can help yourself to the commentary.
Mr. Thoo, if you don't mind me asking, in the last 2 quarters, right? Part of your profits actually coming from the insurance claim. Maybe you can give us some idea about what was actually happening to all this insurance claim. Are we seeing the last of it, or are there more? Can you give us an update about this?
Okay, Peter. In the insurance claim, the fire, the loss of the material loss were all completed, and the money was paid to us already. Okay, completed by the insurer. But there is another portion of the insurance called the business interruption loss, BIL loss, or what we call con loss, contingency loss. Okay. It's as a result of fire, the company or the insured party suffered a loss because of loss of business, interruption to their operation. So all this is covered under what we call the business interruption loss. So over the last from March until December, the insurer and our expert, they were working out all the numbers and justifying what was the loss and preparing the estimate of the loss. So the insurer obviously used their own expert. We use our own expert. And finally, on 23rd December 2019, the insurer offered us 22.2 million as full and final payment. Now, I have got to be very careful. If I take, they have given us a progress claim of 10 million earlier. Okay, so they owe us 12.2 million. I cannot accept it as full and final payment settlement because simply, if I take that money, I would be deprived of what we call arbitration rights. I will have cancelled my right to arbitration because simply my expert assessed the loss to be 53 million. Their expert came up with 22.2 million. There's a 30 million differential. So it's a large figure, and I cannot obviously accept it because I'm responsible to the company and the shareholders, right? It's not a small sum. It's not a $300 differential. It's a 30 million differential. So I need to go for arbitration. The insurance policy allows us to go for arbitration, where we are now taking it to that step.
So if I were to sum it up, so what you're saying is all previous claim has been settled. Now there's only a pending claim, which you're actually on the arbitration stage. On the worst case scenario, it will be 12 million.
Yes, the worst case scenario is I will only receive 22.2 million, which is actually 12.2 million, the final, less the together with the 10 million I got earlier. So I will get my company will get 22.2 million. But if the arbitration was favorable, I do not know what will be the award. Let's say it's 50% of whatever the differential is. I will get an additional 15 million.
Okay. Wow.
Or typically, sometimes, before the arbitration can meet, sometimes the insurer may come and talk to me and say, can we settle out of the panel or out of the arbitration? I don't know. It may happen, it may not happen. I don't know. So, but anyway, the worst case scenario is I will get only 22.2 million. Because that is an admitted liability by the insurer.
So of the 22 million, you have already received 10 million. So there's another pending of 12 million.
Correct.
I see. Okay.
And because we are going for arbitration, the insurer is playing a delay tactic. So I got to take him to court.
I see.
We have done that.
So will this be a long drawn event that can drag 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
No. It won't be that long. I think we will settle it between less than 6 months.
Less than 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So even more money. Huh?
Yeah, definitely it will help.
Very different. It's very helpful during this situation.
Yeah, it's also good for shareholders. I will be able to pay more dividend, right?
Oh yeah, of course. We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, there's more question coming in on going back to the HDD or the hard disk. So a lot of people actually have the question whether is this a sunset industry? Is it something that's going to be phased out in the long run?
So Peter, when I first joined this machining business in the year 1995, everybody said HDD will be a sunset. And then when we got listed at 2005, hey, another 5 years it will be a sunset. Today I'm in 2020. I still can't see a sunset yet.
The sun haven't set.
Haven't set. The long sunset. Okay. But bear in mind, the whole industry has consolidated into only 3 players. So in a sense, it's a very matured industry. Okay. Now, why is it still continuing? It's simply because technology has not caught up. SSD, which is a solid state drive, right? The capacity and the cost of manufacturing, cost per gigabyte or per terabyte is not as competitive as hard disk drive. So this industry will still continue for many, many more years. Okay.
I think to note also, physical hard disk drives are by far the cheapest per terabyte, right? At this point, even though they're SSDs, and I think someone mentioned that Apple is moving everything to flash drive. I think for immediate use of, maybe just to comment a bit, immediate use of data, they use a lot of flash drives. But if they want to store a large amount of data, the cheapest form is still physical hard drives. And we talk a lot about AI right now. Actually, for AI to work, it needs a lot of data. So it's going to be a very costly affair. Not to say that it's not possible. It's going to cost a lot more to store some of these data points on flash drives rather than physical or physical hard drives. Yeah, non-flash drives.
Just to add on to what Alvin said, you must understand not every data need to be instantly retrieved. Okay, a lot of data can run in the background and it can be stored. It's best stored in this cheap bulk storage. Whereas when you need fast response data, you will use the flash or the SSD. So typically the data center will have a combination of both. Okay.
Okay, so another very popular question. Sorry, is your bonus issue still on?
Okay. You got a Bursa approval in late February 2020, right? We had the EGM a couple of days ago, about a week ago. Shareholders have approved it. If you were to implement it now with the stock around about 60 cents, it will X around about maybe 30 cents, right? Making it look like a penny stock. I think we can. The Bursa allows us up to 6 months from the date of their approval to implement the bonus issue. So investor just bear with us for a while. I think it's for your benefit as well, my shareholders' benefit. We delay a little bit, and I think we will just implement it.
So if you don't mind me asking, what's the magic number you have in your mind before we can get bonus issue?
What number?
That's a good question.
So the X price is more than 50 cents. Work it out. Okay.
Okay.
You work it out yourself. If you can't work it out, too bad.
Yeah, $1.
Okay,
So
by
you
the
can
way,
help me, you guys can help me.
yeah, we have 600 people to help you.
Okay.
You got more than 600.
Any recommendations, like Mr. Thoo said, we're just providing you the facts and information for you to make informed investment decisions, right? So stop asking us about target prices. Stop asking us why or not. We are here to provide you with the information, and you are hearing it from the horse's mouth himself, right?
By
So
the way,
now,
at the AGM, we also have approved. Number one is the share buyback that we have got. So we are allowed to buy back up to about 10%. But you know, I'm not like anybody else. Cash is necessary for this period. Is we don't simply buy back just to support the price. But if there were times when it is unusually big major crash, then obviously we can come in to help. But it will be very rare. Okay.
all right, for the benefit who just join us, please do like our Facebook page so that you are able to receive notification on our Facebook Live. We call it the Investors Copy Time. So it's going to be held on a daily basis at 8 p.m. We're going to have a few more guests in line to actually share with you, and every day we'll be here with you. Since we're already at home, just join us at 8 p.m. for you to get more information on investing, so that you become a more well-informed investor. So for those who want to get access to our Equity Tracker platform, please do WhatsApp us at this number, or you can also look at the number on the comment section. We should post it there, and it's pinned at the top, so you should be able to see the number. And for those who want to receive the freebies as well that we have promised, the list of stocks based on prices that went down in the past 1 month, and also since we already reached the 600 views, we're going to also include that list now with the FQA score. So just give us about 1 or 2 days before we are able to give you that list, because we need to go and compile it and also clean it up first before we send it to you. All right, so just go to the WhatsApp number, just say hi, and then you have a prompt. Once you see the list is there, it's going to be there. You just reply, and you should be able to get that list. I know that we're already nearing 9 p.m. Mr. Thoo, if you don't mind, will we able to continue this until 9:30 or not? Maximum lah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Extended time, please pay overtime.
I think just for the viewers, as you all know, we have our Chinese version that happens right after this session. So we're gonna extend this for at the most another 30 minutes. So then you guys can sign on to the Mandarin version that happens right after this. Now let's continue.
Let me address one issue or one angle that probably we have not covered. Okay. Before this crisis, we were already preparing to diversify and strengthen our business model. We take the project Stingray, we call it Project Stingray, which is basically extrusion project. We are the only indirect extrusion company in the country. So it's really blue ocean. We are currently having one line that produces the 6061, 6063, 7073 series of aluminum alloy. That will help me, instead of sourcing it from other aluminum supplier, we are able to do it from billiard. That will save us some money, a lot of money actually. And not only that, it will help me in my manufacture in reducing the amount of rejects, which we had quality issues of raw material. So that will help me. Now we have ordered two other line. One is a 3-inch extrusion and another 5-inch extrusion. These are principally for the aluminum tubular market, which my EMS customer is requiring. So we have already ordered, and it should be coming in May, and hopefully by June we'll be able to run, and that will also help to give us additional revenue in that area, because my customer is trying to localize. Now, out of this crisis, you must understand, a lot of things are going to change. A lot of things are going to change. Localization of supply chain will have to be a priority because of this shutdown. So a lot of companies, a lot of industry will start looking at localization. Because you can't. You remember when China was in having the shutdown, we cannot
Yes.
buy it, right? You can't get supply. You can't live through a season like that anymore. So you have to develop other supply hubs, I think. Okay, so that will be one trend. The other thing is, whatever manufacture you're going to do, you must be now having completeness or integrated manufacture. If you don't have this, you are dependent on other supply chain, you could also be affected in a sense. Now, I think very clearly we are very, very thankful that actually China came out of this virus first. If they didn't come out of this virus, neither are you going to get any supply chain nor any help for the rest of the world. So we are really, really thankful that China is now able to come out of it and help restore the supply chain, so that we can do things for the rest of the world who is now basically shut down, right? So I think emerging out of it, China will become a major economy, obviously. Yeah. So and because of all this thing, we will obviously have to reduce our labor content. We have to continue to automate not only our machining in pick and place robotics, in the inspections of parts, because you use the labor to inspect. Better to use optical inspection. Okay, so these are some areas that we are trying to address issues.
Mr. Thoo, thanks for sharing about Project Stingray. What about Project Nixon?
Project Nixon is actually the EMS sector. So that is now on the EMS sector, because we got entry to the as an approved vendor to the first customer, we've got entry now to two other EMS player. Okay, so but they are not in the same sphere. One is in the DIY handicraft cutting machines. The other one is a major North Asian conglomerate. It has parts in the microwave assembly line and smartphone as well. So both are looking interesting. That we are actually have submitted samples, and we should have some headway in that area.
So can we say that actually both Stingray and Notion are already in place? It's just that currently it's a bit slowed down due to this COVID-19 issue. So once this COVID-19 issue pass, both Stingray and Nixon will go on quite full steam. Is that a good indication?
Definitely.
Okay.
And then my healthcare is called Project Novid, NOVID.
You don't have Project Trump. I was hoping you got Project Trump. Okay, Mr. Thoo. Okay, since you talk about your new project Novid,
Yep.
Okay, this is a combination of questions from Ellie Bay, DT Kwe, SP Ting, and Wong Jen Wei. Okay. So regarding your new healthcare sector, number one, do you think there's going to be a demand problem? Okay. Which very much ties into what is the outlook for this healthcare sector you're talking about. And based on the projection for 2021, if you can hit 420 million sales, assuming, is the healthcare segment part of your projections? Is Project Novit, is that a big part of it? And the last question is, what kind of GP margins are you looking at?
Okay. Project Novit, there will be demand even after the crisis. I believe so. It's not going to be a short-term project. It will last for many more years into the future, and we will probably diversify the product range and develop it to be another segment in our business model. It is my current business model, my core business, actually in the red ocean. I don't mind telling you. I mean, it's quite clear. If you look at my financials, we were actually having lower gross margins and not significantly big growth, but simply because they are actually quite mature, right? Okay, or declining. I mean, camera is no, you understand, is declining because of the handphone camera, right? Automotive, I think this round will also be affected. HDD should be okay, but there will be limited upside as well because the demand is also limited. So EMS is a good sector. I think my customer there and the other two other customers, they should be back in full swing when the thing normalizes. It really depends how long this crisis is going to last. Now, Project Novit, I did, when I told you that number, more than 400, right? I would have included it with some scaling up. I would have included it. My gross profit currently probably around about 18 to 19% gross. With this project, Novit, I think I got to be very careful. I do not say too many things because early days we don't know what the price of raw material and whether this will skyrocket or not. Let's say it will be higher than 20%.
Okay.
Let's say I will be looking at net 25% gross.
On Project Novit itself, or combined as a group?
Combined.
Combined, 25. Wow, that's very high. Okay, but
we have a lot of element of risk there. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Don't jump and just project a number and buy the stock. Okay.
So by the way, all for educational purposes only, guys. Okay, this is not advisory.
Definitely.
All right. But one is what we're looking for, right?
Yeah. So, Mr. Thoo, this Novit project is not just short-term temporary plan for this COVID-19 period, right? It's going to be also a long-term plan for the company itself.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Okay.
The segment within that segment which has got other demand.
Mr. Thoo, this Justin Pang, very quick one. This is an easy question for you, lah. He said before the crisis, what was your factory utilization rate? Because we know now you mentioned it was 50%, but before the crisis, what was it?
Oh, we were running depending on the segment. I mean, camera we were fairly lax. HDD was nearly high end of 80s. EMS was 110%. Okay, no, it was really mad rush. We had to fulfill certain orders, and it's new to us. We had a lot of samples to deliver, deadlines to meet. We are still pushing those samples and pre-production stuff. Tubular as well as new projects coming through.
Mr. Thoo, if you don't mind me asking, what can keep you awake at night?
The COVID numbers.
Yeah, I guess we can keep on checking the numbers at night before we sleep after we wake up in the morning. Yeah, so for those
seriously, we have to actually monitor what's happening in the rest of the world. We just can't look at our local situation. It is bleak, but we also have to look at the total picture in the rest of the world. What's going to happen after the crisis is over? What part can we play? And how do we get through this difficult period? How are we going to manage? We got to keep our costs down and tighten our productivity also. And give a better service to my customer. Yeah.
Okay. Peter, you got something, right?
No, Benny.
Oh, Benny, okay.
Because I've seen quite a number of new people coming into the live session today. We're going to have this live session on a daily basis at 8 p.m. It normally is about 1 hour. We finish at 9, but today, because we have a special guest, Mr. Thoo from Notion Vtec, he's the executive chairman there, who's actually sharing with us how the company handles crisis and what the company has in its plans in the near future. Right. So for those who just join us, if you want to continue to be invited or alerted for our next live session, please do like our Activity Tracker Facebook page and follow us so that whenever we have a live session, you will get notified. All right. And for those who want to have access to our Activity Tracker platform, please go to WhatsApp, add this number to your WhatsApp, and just say hi, and you should be able to have a set of questions there where you can get the access for the Activity Tracker platform until April 7th. And also you'll be able to see that there are also a few freebies that we're going to provide to you guys as well. So just communicate with the WhatsApp number that we just given to you. All right, so we're just going to continue. And for those who have been with us since day one, we want to thank you so much. You have been sharing this to your friends. We have already hit the number of 600. So we're going to give you the list that we promised you, which is the FQA ranking. And also, for those who actually tag 5 friends, you'll be able to receive a list of stocks or companies that have ETF investment, which we have actually shared yesterday. So please keep on tagging your 5 friends. And once you've tagged your 5 friends, we will let you know where you can get that list. Right?
Moving on, I got one question from Wayne. Wayne, basically, Mr. Thoo, you mentioned before that on the EMS, aerospace and medical is definitely the sectors you want to look at. How ready are your capabilities now in the EMS to actually penetrate into aerospace and also medical?
We actually have accreditation for aerospace, but as you understand now, with the airlines in big trouble, not able to fly, demand side is really dropped like a bomb, right? Dropped down. So the demand for aerospace component going forward will be much depressed, and I don't know when it's going to recover, especially after the 737 Max, right? All the major makers are going to have a big problem because customer will be not able to pick up the orders that they have done, right? So in terms of medical products, we really haven't made any headway yet.
I see. Okay.
Medical devices, medical devices. Okay.
Medical devices.
Yeah, we have not made any headway yet.
Mr. Thoo, one question that was earlier asked about, and this is very much with regards to the existing situation or regarding COVID. Are you having any logistical issues about shipping out or getting things that you import in? Are you actually getting any logistical issues?
Okay, good question. I think as I was talking to Peter earlier, one of the big difficulty now is, let's say I want to go to China. I want to send my engineers to China to visit my supplier and talk to them and learn from them about how to install things, spare parts, learn about the systems and control, um, basically trying to understand how to install the equipment. I'm unable to do, simply because to fly to China itself is a problem. We don't have flights, maybe. It will be difficulty in getting a flight. Assuming you can get a flight, you reach there, you have to spend 14 days in quarantine before you can see the customer. So then you spend 2-3 days with your customer. On the way back coming to Malaysia, you are now in quarantine for another 14 days before you can come back to the factory to work. So it's a 1 month turnaround.
Yeah.
Can you see the problem?
Mm.
Not only in China, you go to Indonesia, you go to Thailand or America or whatever, this same 1 month or Australia turnaround will be there for, I do not know how long this is going to last. So it will disrupt a lot of not only tourism but business people.
Mm.
So recovery will be slower because of this. Because every country is putting up barriers, right?
Yeah.
After, let's say, Malaysia has controlled, after the 4 weeks has controlled well the situation, flattened the curve, and now able to keep the virus at a lower pace. Infection are lower. What happened? You need to maintain this figure, right? You still need to put a barrier up. Foreigner coming in must have 14 days quarantine. Who is going to come in? Tourists cannot come in for 14 days quarantine before they go and visit local sites, right?
Yeah.
Go to Genting Highland, go to Malacca. You mean I want to come and visit you 14 days quarantine before I can do, and then go back another 14 days. So there will be massive disruption all over the world. I don't know when this is going to end. Okay, assuming I used to truck things from in containers from Klang through the Bukit Kayu Hitam up to Ayutthaya, right? We used to do that. Now with Thailand emergency control, we do not know whether once you cross over into Thailand, do you have to be quarantined or not?
Yeah.
Or you have to use a Thai driver. Both ways. Thailand, their products coming down to Malaysia also maybe have to have an interchange of drivers. So all these issues need to be ironed out, and it's early days, and we have never seen a situation like this. I believe there will be some disruption.
Yeah. But so, which means production is okay. It's just logistical is still going to be quite a challenge. Maybe not just for you, but anyone else in the industry, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's across the board. Everyone is affected. Face the same issue. Because number one, if you already control your virus epidemic here, you need to maintain that state of health, right? You have done your cleansing, so you need to maintain your state. So the only way is to put up a border. To prevent imported cases, just like China is doing. That's why they're imposing 14 days for the foreigner. You want to go in, please come, but you must be quarantined for 14 days. So that we can know whether you have caught the bug or not.
Do you think that logistics companies are going to suffer big time, or do you think that's going to be boom for them? Maybe it's a bit off topic, and maybe just to hear your views, because there could be investors who are watching this today that have invested in logistic companies or logistic-based companies, right? Do you think a lot of them will go bust because of it?
I think a lot of logistic companies will be affected definitely by the shutdown because some factories are not allowed to run.
Yeah.
Goods will be even those that are able to run is only at 50% capacity. So it's a reduction already straight away. Number one, goods will be reduced in the thing, except for maybe food. Food obviously is priority, that cannot stop. Those will continue. But the rest of the other manufactured goods, all of us are affected one way or another. And in fact, when you apply to MITI for 50% reduction in your capacity, you probably won't get it until you reduce it to 30% of the capacity. It's an unknown thing, but they're doing it. If you apply 50%, you won't get your license.
To reduce, you think to reduce it?
You have to reduce your capacity down to 30%, then only they will grant you approval.
Oh, you need approval for reduce capacity.
Yes, you need MITI approval.
Wow.
Without the MITI approval, you can, and their lines to MITI is all jammed. We had to have people midnight, trying to post the application through. They want the whole list of workers.
Right.
List of workers. Yeah.
Wow.
So imagine you have to send a list of a few hundred people. Okay.
That's very.
So it's a challenging environment.
Yeah. One question here from Justin Pang. If there is another 2 weeks or say even 4 weeks delay after 14th of April, will your inventory still be able to meet demand for your clients? Are there any backup plans at the moment?
Oh, we already have received approval from MITI to run. So but we only can run at 30%. So we will still be able to meet. So we will target those that are really in demand, and then we focus on those. And we give it to them.
So you run at 30%. Therefore, your inventory, even if it remains the same, it actually can last for quite a long time.
Not only my inventory is in Malaysia, my inventory is in Europe and other parts of the world. So they can pull down from my hubs. We call it the hub.
Yeah. Mr. Thoo, there's a question from DT Koi. He's asking just now, Mr. Thoo, you mentioned, right? Going forward, there will be a trend where companies actually opt for a local supply. So if that happens, wouldn't that affect your business? Because if globally everybody shift to a local supply situation.
No, most of I have customers and I have presence in those markets where my customers are. My customer in the EMS sector is down in Johor. My customer in the HDD and camera is in Thailand. I have presence in Thailand. Only one I don't have presence is actually in Europe, the automotive side.
I see. So actually what you're saying is that actually for most of the operation, you are located at where your customer is. So it's actually considered as a local supply. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay, thanks for answering that. I hope
this cross border of things will be an obstacle to manufacture to many companies.
Understand. Yeah. Do you still have any? There's this question from Wayne. Do you have any hedging policies?
We used to do a lot of hedging on the forex, but we have stopped hedging.
No more.
Stop hedging? No, we're not.
Not a good experience, I guess.
Yeah, we have learned our lesson. So we are not doing any hedging. But for aluminum, we don't do any hedging, but it's back to back. Whatever we buy, we're passing it on straight to my customer.
Okay.
On the extrusion side.
Yeah, he also mentioned it was a costly decision.
Yeah.
It nearly cost me my job. It nearly cost me my job, actually.
Oh, really? We're glad you're still around.
My neck is still intact.
I've got a question from Peter Law here. He said you mentioned about hubs, different hubs with different locations, right? Using this strategy, obviously, it diversifies out the risk, but does it also increase your cost significantly, or is that what you guys have always been doing anyway?
No, it was a customer's request. It does cost me more or stress me on the cash flow actually.
Uh,
It's more costly this way. Yeah.
okay,
But it's a necessary part of the business. It's part of my contract.
I see. Okay. Okay, it looks like we may have answered all the questions, right? I don't know, Benny. You
Yeah, I
wanna
think that we answered nearly all the questions.
Benny?
Yeah,
So in a nutshell, what I'm going to tell you is this: we won't be not affected. All of us will be affected one way or another. This is a real crisis. Financial market is affected. Economies are affected. Healthcare is affected. People are suffering because of the virus. So it cannot be normal days now. As to how long it will last, I don't know. The biggest or the best solution is we can get a quick vaccine. We can get a quick vaccine out, proven, and you can produce in volume, then the crisis will come out of it faster. If not, I think every country will go through this. Some will face major challenges in the healthcare system. Many people, unfortunately, will die. There will be collateral death also because the whole health system is affected. Other people with other illnesses cannot be treated. They're not given any priority because of the virus. So there's certainly a lot of uncertainty, but we are meeting it. We are meeting this crisis the best that we can. We're conserving our cash. We are able to keep my staff and my employees. Um, Fortunately, I have enough cash, and with this project 𝗦𝗡𝗏, hopefully we can overcome it and come out of the cycle, come out of the crisis in a better way, intact. Okay.
I think that's a. So I mean, actually, I have a few questions here. Maybe I'll take last three questions very quickly before we end. In terms of aluminium price being so low right now, this question is by Lee Kok Leong. Are your customers actually asking for a discount or not?
You see, in our business, there is no pass through. We don't pass through when we get hit by US dollar weakening, which can happen. I mean, the US dollar can we have seen it around about below $3, right? We won't get an adjustment on terms of pricing. Similarly, when the aluminum went above 2,500 I think a couple of years back, we also didn't get any adjustment on prices. So it works both ways. We take it that is actually there's no pass through. So there's no effect. They won't ask for adjustment.
Benny, over to you.
Yeah, all right. I think some of the questions have already been answered earlier. I think Peter's replied to some of them. Yeah, so we only have like 5 minutes left. So I think
one more. I was watching your KopiTime, what do you call it? Your chat last night, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Watch us every night.
Okay, I only watched it last night. Okay. Benny, you made a comment. You were predicting that the US dollar will be 5 ringgit to the US dollar. Now, if it's 5 ringgit to US dollar, my sales will be much higher. Okay. If there's any consolation.
If it goes to $5, right?
But if it goes to 350, don't blame me. It's also the other way around.
Yeah, when I talk about it, it's basically based on chart analysis, lah. So it's again my own personal opinion. It's not be taken as any investment advice.
It doesn't come true, please blame Benny, okay?
If it comes through, then you guys have to belanja me coffee, lah. But the problem is, always remember the bad thing, not the good things.
But Mr. Thoo, just curious, so while we're on the $5, I mean, if your sales will be much higher, does that mean your profit also will be much higher because your cost is mostly ringgit?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I think so. You're not uncertain, right? Peter, your mic is off.
I off my mic. Do you have any sensitivity analysis? Say 1% movement in dollars, what is the impact on your profit?
You can work it out, 40% I think. Yeah, you can work it out. I think it's described in my annual report 2019. You can look at it. You can,
okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's all go and download his annual report since the answer is there.
Yeah, okay. Unless you have it free as well, we can download it for you and give it to you for free.
We'll snapshot that particular page and send to you.
We're just curious if you guys actually want the annual report. Just type annual report in the comments. I'm just curious to see if you guys are really that lazy or not. Annual report in the comment section if you guys want Notion Vtec's latest annual report, 30th September 2019. All right.
Oh, God.
Very over to you.
Okay. So, okay, I think we're probably going to end this right now. It's already about 9:30 because we have another session on Mandarin, right? It's still going to go on live at 9:30 p.m. So you can just hang on and we'll start that session at 9:30. It's already starting live. You can just wait, but the session will start at 9:30. And for those who follow us, please do join us on a daily basis. Investors KopiTime at 8 p.m. every day. Until the MCO order is as long as it's still there, we'll be here with you, right? And for those who wants to have the access to our equity tracker platform, please do WhatsApp us at this number, which is a number that you can see on the comment as well, so that you are able to get some of the free things that we have mentioned to you earlier. So to know what are those free things that we're going to give it to you, just reply to the WhatsApp and you should see a list of things that we'll be giving to you for free. Right, and this is something that we're going to do for you, as long as we are still in a lockdown in a home place. So hopefully you are able to join us on a daily basis. So before we end here, we'll come again tomorrow. Tomorrow we have something exciting because the recent announcements about a moratorium on loans, and all that is going to flush the market with cash. So the question is now, where is this cash going to? So now at the session tomorrow, we're going to talk about this, right?
And then, Benny, I think we're also going to bring in our crypto expert, Mr. Andrew Vong, because we want to know in a situation like this where US just announced $6 trillion of unlimited quantitative easing. How is this actually going to affect Bitcoin or crypto prices? So stay tuned. We actually have 4 people on tomorrow. So it will be a very large discussion about quantitative easing, the recent moratorium, and of course, digital currencies as well. I think we've got some good stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, you've seen recently as well, right? I think the governments even right now are using digital currency as a mode of payment. Even right here in Malaysia, if you remember the first financial stimulus that our ex-Prime Minister mentioned, we actually get 30 ringgit in a touch and go. So I think that we are seeing a shift in the currency world. So hope we can join us tomorrow. We are going to explain all this tomorrow with, of course, our crypto expert Andrew Wong. And we can also see, right, markets have rebounded, by cryptocurrency prices have rebounded even more aggressively. So stay tuned with us tomorrow and be back at 8 p.m. So before we end, we want to thank Mr. Thoo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Viewers, I want to thank you for listening to whatever we have to share. Stay safe, be healthy, okay?
Listen to it. Don't close the window yet. Before we die.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Thoo said, Panda says thank you, Mr. Thoo. We shall see you
Okay.
again. See you. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining us.
you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Wait,
you.
yeah. Okay, Faiz.